Good morning, ARMR Insiders. Welcome to the morning meeting of our virtual hedge fund. Why don't we all hop on the cannabis couch, okay? Time to hop on the cannabis couch. So, welcome everybody to the cannabis couch. Nice to have you. We got to stay on this story as it develops. Let's just go back real quick to our position so you understand where I'm coming from when I talk to you about this. First of all, there's a ton of risk in cannabis stocks. So don't forget that. We are making a lot of money because we bought it cheap. We literally bought the double bottom. We literally bought the low of the year. I can't always say that. And so we did it. That was fun. Okay. We didn't know we were buying the low of the year. We were just buying a classic double bottom when the reward was worth the risk. That was the discussion. It had nothing to do with reclassifying, declassifying, nothing. We didn't know about any of that. This is a good lesson to help you understand when to buy stocks. We buy stocks if we like the investment idea, which I did cannabis. I've been following it for a long time. You guys know that, okay? When you get an undeniable double bottom and the reward is worth the risk, meaning the risk is the stop. If it took out the double bottom low, we were out. So, okay, we lost a little money. So what? But if we're right, we can make a lot of money. And we bought lottery tickets, right? I said to you, we don't know when this is going to play out. So I'm just buying options. I'm buying options out 2026. I ladder them up 3, 4, and 5 and 10s. And I walk away and see if I win a lottery or I lose all the money. That's all. That's what a lottery ticket is. You either make a lot of money or you lose it all. Okay, where we are now is we're in a position where we've taken our capital out. And we did that last week after much discussions on the desk. Right in the yellow box at the moment, we did it right on the day that was the high of this run. Okay, we basically did this on Thursday. I talked to you about different things we could do. We could buy puts to protect our calls, but that never really works. So I decided not to do that. Okay. I said to you, the prudent man, and I beg you to make your own decision. Don't wait for me. I said to you, go do whatever you want. You want to book your gains? Hey, you're up 3 to 5 times on your money. Go book your gains. I don't care, right? I'm just sharing with you what I do personally. And I said the prudent man at this juncture takes out principal and we play with the house money. Worst case scenario at this stage for me personally, the whole thing unwinds. I give away the house money. My principal is intact. And the only thing that happens is I'm a little bit frustrated. All right. That's it. So now the emotion for me has been taken out of the trade completely. For me, once my principal's out and I know this is house money, I say, okay, it is what it is. Either this is going to go to the moon and I give away the house money. I say, okay, my principal's intact. That's the way it went. I'll go look for greener pastures somewhere else. Okay. Now let's talk about what's unfolding again. So 2 weeks ago, there were some stories hitting the tape on Friday at 9 o'clock in the evening. Wall Street Journal, CNN, whatever, talking about Trump, talking to donors about possibly reclassifying. He's thinking about it. Then on Monday, he came out and said, I am thinking about it. And he kind of, if you listen to that conference, he was kind of like, there's a lot of great things medical, but then there's a lot of horrible things I hear. So I don't know. And Pam Bondi and I are going to figure it out in the next couple of weeks. And okay. So after all that, and our calls are up 3 to 5 times, I said, okay, I'm going to take out my principal. Then you could see it sold off on Friday. At 4 a.m. Sunday, Charlie Gasparino jumped into the weed patch, as it were, for the New York Post, And he, you know, gave his own take on what was going on. And this, this is the quote that I found interesting. You tell me if you think I'm talking my book, you know, reading tea leaves too much, but this is what I found interesting. The quote is, Trump appears to be moving closer to making a decision in the coming weeks to make weed something less criminal in the eyes of the federal government. Trump is ready, sources tell me, says Gasparino, to make a decision, and here's the part I love, on at least reclassifying weed. On at least reclassifying weed. Does that mean that there's a tiny opening in the door to declassifying weed? He's at least thinking about reclassifying. Is he going to declassify, give it to the ATF, and be done with it? Nobody's expecting that. I told you, it's like a 10% chance that's going to happen, in my opinion. And the reason is reclassify really doesn't do anything. You've got states that are using recreational marijuana, and you reclassify it to S3, it's still illegal in Colorado. How do you deal with that? It doesn't really fix the problem. But what you can do is give it to the alcohol, firearms, tobacco, ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, call it the ATF-C, cannabis, right? And regulate it and do all the things you need to do to make it safe for, you know, all the people that are afraid of weed. Okay? Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I got my lottery tickets. I got my principal out. I'm just going to sit back and watch the circus. Will I add back some risk? I'm considering it. I don't really know. I mean, I got a large position on still. I've just taken my principal out. I don't know if I need more. And I like personally to be in the situation where it's not really emotional. I mean, it is because I got gains, right? But when my principal is intact, it's less of a burden to me. I say, okay, great. Worst case scenario, this, my principal's intact. I live to fight another day. And I really like that position. But if you forced me to say, well, Brett, where would you add back some calls? I would say to you, if the gap closes, you know, somewhere down in here, certainly below 450, which is the lows of last week. It's got to take out the lows of last week and come down to test this gap. You know, I don't know, somewhere around $4. Right now, I'm looking to open $4.60. So, I mean, it comes down to $4 or below. I might throw a couple more calls out there, but if I do, they're going to be out of the money stuff. They're like I like lottery tickets in this situation. So I can control a lot of shares with a small amount of money. And if it goes against me, not a big deal to the portfolio. If it goes for me, it could be a big deal. That's how I'm playing the story. Along with, and I'll just round it out here. I got to get out of here. There's 2 minutes left. These are the positions in the portfolio, the cannabis couch, right? I own True Leaf, and I haven't touched that position. And we added REFI last week. We booked a profit in Green Thumb and added the REITs last week. Okay? So that's the cannabis couch. I hope you guys have a wonderful day trading. ARMR Insiders, I'll see you in 2 minutes for the live trading desk. Report subscribers, you're on your own. Everybody remember, whatever you heard from me, please think for yourself, risk tolerance goals, make your own decisions, and be the smart money.